Hey guys, my name is Mark, and this is going to be my review on the Arbor Terra Twin 155 centimeter snowboard. I'm a 43-year-old stoker, and I returned to snowboarding in my late 30s after being a young man and doing it a little bit when I was a teenager. The reason why I'm doing a review on this snowboard is no one else, I couldn't find anybody else that's done a review, because I normally would just default to somebody who's a lot more qualified to review a snowboard than me. But there isn't any other data out there, so I thought I would go ahead and do it because this is my favorite snowboard that I've ever got on and started riding off the rip, and like absolutely loved it. This is my favorite. So I'm trying to keep from hitting things, but it is what it is. I've been charging on it for 2 days straight. We had probably 16 inches of fresh powder this morning, and even more than that in some places. It floats great. It's a true twin. It's designed to be ridden a few centimeters shorter than your standard length because it's volume shifted, meaning that it's fatter but shorter. I normally ride a 160. I'm about 6 feet tall, 170 pounds, and I would consider myself an intermediate rider. I ride around 20 to 30 days a year, based out of the mid-Atlantic. I do like to really charge, and I love snowboarding and I'm super passionate about it, but I'm under no illusion that I'm like a semi-professional or anything. I'm not that good at it. So that's my level of experience. Since returning to the sport, I have developed a hobby of being on Marketplace and Craigslist and buying snowboards at killer deals. And that's how I got this one. I originally wanted to get one of these brand new, and it just wasn't in my budget, or it wasn't in stock, and I ended up going a different direction and getting a Yes Warca, which is actually very similar design to this snowboard, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. And if you like this review, go ahead and smash that like button below, turn on notifications, leave me a comment, and subscribe to the channel. It allows me to continue to do content like this. I've ridden a variety of Never Summer, GNU, Jones. I know I'm missing one, but and Libtech. I have a couple of Libtechs. I've ridden a whole bunch of different snowboards, from the C2 camber, like rocker base, resort camber, which is more like flat. I've ridden the ride Warpig, and like I said, I rode the Yes Warca was a daily driver for a while, so I'm no stranger to volume shifted decks. I've also my snowboard when I was a younger man was a Bataleon Hero. So if you're familiar with Bataleon snowboards, they have that 3D technology in the nose. So I have a pretty good level of experience to kind of give a good description of the feedback that you feel from your snowboard as a rider. So but my other daily driver is mostly a Capita 160 Outerspace Living. Absolutely love that snowboard. And I would consider that like my park board. And I would probably ride that if I was going to be doing more jibbing. This snowboard is designed for softer snow use and freestyle, or like backcountry style freestyle, I guess is how I understand it. So a little bit different designs there. You can see in the nose here, they have these channels that are supposed to, I'm not certain, to be quite honest, if the purpose of these channels is to evacuate snow from the tail, meaning that this snowboard is a true twin. It's 155 centimeters, like I said. So this may help the snow clear from the end. A lot of powder boards have some, I think Jones makes one that has a similar technology than that. And they say it might also, like, you know, funnel in more snow to cause better lift at high speeds in the powder. I really can't like comment on the physics of that. I can only just give you my feedback as a rider and how well it does. Also, it does have a three-dimensional shape to it, meaning that it's shaped more like a spoon. So the edges are pulled back a little bit like that, like on a Bataleon board. I think Jones has some of that same tech as well. And I have to say that this Terra Twin combines all of my favorite things about my Warca with all of the things about the Warpig, with none of the disadvantages. Or I guess maybe like butterability and flexibility in the middle of the board is maybe that's a disadvantage depending on your riding style. That's how it is different in comparison. This board tracks amazing, and even at the slightest bit of soft snow, you can tell that with this spoon design in the nose and these grip tech, there's a little raised portion right here, and it goes, it's on the front and back at both where the binding packs are. Makes hold in hard icy snow incredible. This snowboard, instantly when I got on it, it made me want to just trust it and just go faster and faster and faster, which is why if I were riding with people who you know, maybe didn't want to charge as hard, I might not ride this particular snowboard because it's not as good at jibbing. But I found that it inspired a very high level of trust, so stable through chopped up chunder and snow. It floated fantastic in powder, which could be a testament to these designs and or the volume shifted design. Just the engineers at Arbor actually just knocked it out of the park. So Arbor says that this camber is a progressive camber profile, meaning that the ends of the snowboard on this end and this end are going to be contacting the snow first before weight's put on it. And I found that between a C3 rocker profile, C2 rocker profile, flat, resort camber, they all kind of have their place for something different, but I kind of tend to gravitate toward full camber. And Arbor's camber profile to keep this floating is it gets progressively stiffer toward the middle of the board. So the ends of the board are a little bit more mellow and the middle is stiffer. And this is a 155 and it should be volume shifted. So I usually ride a 160. This is perfect for me. And I would say, even though Arbor rates this snowboard is a medium flex, for me as a lighter rider, I'm 170 pounds or so, I would say it's like a 7. It's a lot. It's decently stiff, but that's good. I like it. The way that it handles is really mellow. Side cut, love it. It's amazing. It's just perfect for me. So if you're the type of rider that you're looking for a volume shifted board to add to your quiver, or you're like a volume shifted person, you like to ride the shorter, fatter boards, I got something for you. So the reason that I think that this snowboard is superior to the Warca that I had, and I liked it a lot better, is the fact that the side cut is not as, it's longer, meaning I think it's, I mean, the result of it when you're riding it is that the turning radius is more mellow. And the side cut on my Warca was tighter, so you would be turning harder sooner. And I like to do longer turns that are more drawn out. So it was just a better fit for my riding style, and I found that kind of annoying. That's one of the reasons that I sold my Warca. But it was pretty stable at speed, it had nice pop, and it floated okay in powder. This floats a lot better in powder. Now, granted, it was a volume shifted design and I was only riding, I think, like a 152 or something like that. So it's a touch smaller, but it was designed as a powder board, and that was the one that fit me. So this could be a touch oversized for me, and that could be attributed to it. Now, my experience with the Warpig is that it was really cool, like nice mellow board, but the flat camber profile on it caught me off guard at high speed. I've read of other people having issues at high speed on the Warpig. Excuse me, I'm talking about the Warpig. Having issues at high speed on the Warpig, and I definitely had an issue. I couldn't seem to get my heel edge to set. It's probably an issue with me as a rider. You know, maybe if I had a little bit better skills and my fundamentals were more locked in, that maybe not would have happened. But nevertheless, I had a crash at over 40 miles an hour because I couldn't seem to get my heel edge engaged, like bruise my calf a little bit, because I just kind of like laid down on my back because I was having so much trouble regaining control, because at that extreme speed trying to get on my heel edge, I just couldn't get it to bite in, and doesn't inspire confidence. What I did notice about this board is that it immediately inspired such a high level of confidence. I knew it just felt like I could trust it no matter what, because of the spoon shape of the nose, how well it tracked. It comes factory detuned on the tip and tail from Arbor, which is all my boards, that's the first thing that I do to them. So it tracked really straight. It wasn't hooky, and it's so stable in between these binding packs. And with that grip tape or grip tech, when you are on hard snow, you start to set your edge. You just shift your weight over that part of the binding, and you can really initiate your turn, and you can just feel it cutting into the snow, and you can trust it. And that to me, for a wider board like that, that's a critical factor. So I didn't enjoy the way that the Ride Warpig performed on fast, hard East Coast snow. Your mileage may vary, but that's me. You know, sometimes on a wider deck, it's more difficult to initiate a turn and get onto a good carve. And this one initiates a turn so smooth. It holds amazing, as good as any other snowboard that I've ridden. And I've ridden, like I said, probably 10 or 15 other snowboards. I have a lot of days on those different boards. So by no means am I an expert, that's just my experience. I also, Arbor from the factory, they do detune the edges toward the tip and tail. I have, since I injured my ACL, it's super important to me that is done. So I detuned it roughly to right around here, which is right about where the edges start to engage. And I found that really charging hard over a lot of variable terrain, it feels so safe under my feet. You just float through the bumps. It's not violent. It just kind of skips back and forth with those spoon-shaped ends, and being able to turn around and ride it switch the exact same way is a huge force multiplier for me. I love it, but overall, I'm gonna give this a 5 stars out of 5-star review. It's my absolute favorite snowboard, and I would say if riding rails in the park is important to you, that's kind of like the only thing that I don't like this snowboard for. I think that, you know, you wouldn't be able to feel the rails under here, and I'm not a very good rail rider anyways. I'm working on it, but this is not the right tool for that job. The base is lightning fast. It tracks just so good, and it glides amazing. So I would say for like any other use, I'm probably going to go to this, unless I'm one to ride with people who are going to be doing more jibbing, or I know I'm going to be riding slow, because I did find while I was riding this snowboard, I consistently found myself wanting to just pin it and go faster and faster and faster. And that's part of my riding style. I do like to charge, but this board was giving me that extra level of confidence where I could really trust it, and the wide shape makes it more stable for doing butters and for landings and stuff like that, which I also found to be helpful. At my size and weight, not the easiest board to butter. It's too stiff. It's a little too stiff for me to butter it, but your mileage may vary depending on how strong of a rider you are. So if you've never heard of the Arbor Terra Twin snowboard, I highly recommend it. If you're at Arbor, you guys you guys killed it on this product. You did such an amazing job. I would love an opportunity to do more work with you guys as a videographer or UGC content, because I'm stoked on your products. I really appreciate you. This has been Mark with Stay Fresh Media. Later.